All right, so the axle piece, let's see here. Show you how I tackle this. Start a new layer here. Turn off all my other layers. I may lock them, so I make sure I don't accidentally move anything in those layers. So I'm on brick 7 now. Typically, I would ask you just to start with that original brick that we were just working on as the foundation to this one. But for timing, I'm just going to cruise through this pretty quick just to show you the process. Follow along if you can, otherwise just watch, take notes, and I will record this so you have it later also. So I'm going to draw basically a bottom view of this and a top view of this just in flat curves. So I'm going to do my overall shape here. I've got I'm going to draw a rectangle to start with. .66. So I'm going to go to my rectangle command, start it in the center here, 23.66, enter, and the brick is, I call it 15.86 wide, 15.86, enter. So this is the overall width and height I have of the main axle piece. I'm not including the stem parts coming off the ends, the actual axles themselves. At this point, measure the end, and you'll see this comes out what I'm doing here. So I've got the end piece is 4.13. So I'm going to draw a line here, 4.13, enter, boom, enter. I'm going to move this, type the command move it from the middle to the middle here, right there. My side pieces are, this is how I'm going to get that angle right out of the gate. At 18. So I'm going to draw another line here, 18, enter. That, I'm going to move this midpoint to midpoint. I'm going to draw a line from the end of that curve that I did earlier and that curve. Oops. Make sure I have only ends selected over here on my object snaps because everything else is getting in the way here. Snap to the end there, end here, enter. I'm just going to hide this rectangle for a second so you can see what I started with here. So I'll take these two, I'm going to mirror them over. Mirror. I'm going to mirror it from the middle of this line that I made earlier. Take these and mirror those to the other side. So I've got this overall shape, and I'm looking at the bottom of the part, if you will. I'm trying to figure this out. So I see these curves right here. I'm going to join those together, and there's a thickness to those. guessing around 1 millimeter with my calipers here. So I'm going to do a curve offset, offset curve, type in 1, enter, offset those 1 millimeter, like so. I think the edge probably comes in 1 millimeter too. So I'm going to take this, repeat the command, this, repeat the command. And I only did that so I can get this little detail right here. It's on 1 millimeter, and that comes over that whole piece from the edge. So I'm going to draw another curve from this end, 3.39, enter, like so. So I got a curve right here, should be, 3.39, enter, sorry, enter, so draw a curve from that point down. I'm going to select intersection on my object snaps. So I know when I'm holding shift and I'm coming down, it will lock to exact intersection right here. Boom. Enter. I can get rid of that small curve right now. Again, looking at this bottom piece, I'm looking at that curve I just made, and it offsets inside 1.5. So I'm going to do this curve, offset, offset curve, 1.5, enter, like that. Take that. I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to use the trim command. I'm going to come in here and trim these tails off, like so. So I get something like that. These I don't really need. If you look at that bottom, there's no wall there. I'm just drawing the walls I see below. If I was using my original foundation piece, I would know I'd already have these circles figured out in the center of this part. But what I'm going to do, just as reference, I'm going to draw a line from the midpoint to the midpoint here, so I can draw that center cylinder piece, which is 6.44 in diameter. So I'm going to draw a circle from the midpoint, 6.44, enter. Now there's a wall thickness to this, so I'm just going to offset it. 1.1, let's call it 1. Curve, offset, offset curve, 1, enter. So we got that piece going on. And then I have a small curve from here to here, or a wall I should say. And it looks like it's about 1 millimeter wide, about the same thickness as the cylinder. So I'll just do a curve offset of 0.5 to each side, which added up would be 1 millimeter. That. So we got these going on. I'm just going to tap this over here. I'm going to add a line here. Same thing over here. Grab all this, join it together, move it back. I'm going to grab these two curves I just made. I'm going to mirror everything over to the other side. It's my mirror command. Go from the midpoint to this side. Like that. I'm going to grab everything and use my trim command. Just trim that out and trim that out. Oops, not the whole thing, just that. Oh, that's not working. I think when I did the mirror command, it didn't mirror it over exactly. Let me just get rid of this midpoint. Take this, that. Oh. So you see these, I zoom in, this line is not touching this line, so it's not doing the trim command correctly. So what I'm going to do, and that's because I started with this original curve here in the middle, and I offset it. When I offset it, this curve moves in, so of course the offset's not going to touch it when it gets offsetted. So anyway, one thing I'll do here is just do a curve, extend curve by line. Curve, extend curve by line. I'll zoom in here, tap that curve and extend it to the intersection. Come in here, tap this curve and extend it to the intersection. Hit enter to finish the command. So now I have these curves that I just extended to actually touch that circle in the middle. So now I'll grab these, mirror them over. Here. Grab everything. I'm just going to trim this out right there, right there. And also right here and right here. And that's how you draw a TIE fighter. All right, so it could be. Let's take that shape. Solid extrude. Just like Star Wars. All right. So to that point, we can do some Boolean differences to get the rest of what we need to do here. First of all, I would probably draw the top view of this too, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you how I'd get this bottom going, and then you can use the same principles on the top. But I would take, seeing this is kind of a view of the bottom, I would do a solid extrude planar curve straight. I'm going to extrude it down, so I'm going to type in a negative number, negative. Let's see how deep this goes here. Using my depth gauge. Somewhere around, I call it 2 millimeters. To enter. And then I'm going to look at kind of an edge view, side view from a different perspective here, and you got those angles coming in on the bottom. So I'd go to this is the end view I want right here. I'm going to draw 2 points. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to make sure I have project on over my left, project. So I can snap anywhere on this object, but I know that wherever I snap on this thing or draw, it's going to put those points or whatever I draw onto the C plane, onto the 0 plane. That'll make more sense here in a second. So I'm going to put a point there just as a reference. Repeat, I'm going to put a point over here as a reference. And actually I won't do a point over there yet. I'm just going to have a point over here right now. And I'm looking at this chamfer on the bottom. I'm going to measure and see how far that chamfer comes in on this part. Oh, it's kind of angled out too. Should work. Okay, now that'll work. All right. So I'm looking at the bottom of this, and I'm measuring how deep or how far in that chamfer comes on the side there. We got 5 millimeters. So I'm just going to take, I'm going to control copy, control paste this point. I'm going to tap it in 5 millimeters, 3, 4, 5. So I know that chamfer comes in 5 millimeters. And then how deep is it? So it comes right back up to the edge of the part, the very bottom. So I'm going to take this and go up here, 2 millimeters. So what I did was just drew a couple of reference points so I could draw a line here now. I'm going to lock onto this point or end. I'm going to make sure I have point selected on my object snaps so it will snap to this point like so. So I've got this, that's the shape of my chamfer on the bottom. It's close, it's not exactly right, but pretty close. What I can do, a couple different ways we can do this. One, let me just move this part over here. Make a control copy, paste. And what I'm going to do with this line right here, I'm going to do a curve, extend curve by line. I'm going to extend it this way on the top, this way on the bottom. Hit enter to finish the command. So it's like that. And I'm going to draw a line going straight down. I'm going to hit tab so it locks that trajectory, and I lock to the end there. And I'm going to draw it over to here, hit enter. So I got this triangle, right? Boom. With this triangle, I'm going to do a solid extrude planar curve straight and make a big solid piece here. So, I'll show you why I did that. Because I can grab this solid now. I'm going to tap it back over to the original position, which was right here. I've extended it, made it go beyond the other solid here, which is that part that we drew. I'm going to mirror this to the other side. Go from the center, make sure I have midpoint selected here, and make sure I snap to the middle there. So what we have here is this. So now I can select this part. Remember, this is just the bottom half of the Lego piece. We still got to build the top half. But that said, I'm going to do a Boolean difference. I'm going to subtract these. And that's how we get that starting shape of what that bottom looks like, just using the Boolean difference. That's one way to do it. The other way is a little bit more simple. I can actually just take a curve, just delete this out, our original curve that we drew, go to the side here, and I can do what's called a Boolean split. So I can select, I'll take this curve, I'm going to mirror it to the other side, just like we did with that last part. There it is there. I can select this solid, selecting this whole piece. I'm going to go to this right view, and I'm going to do a Boolean split. Boolean split. It says, all right, select your cutting objects. Oh, excuse me, sorry. These curves cannot just be curves. They do need to be a surface. So I'm going to grab both those curves. I'm going to use surface, extrude curve straight. I'll extrude it out to here. So I didn't have to make a solid like I did over here. I can select this though and do a solid. Sorry, I'll come over here and use my Boolean commands. Boolean, split, select the surfaces or cutting objects. I'm going to select that one. This one, hit enter. And so it did. It split this. Not only did it split it, but it made sure when it did split it, it rebuilt some surfaces to make it a solid. So if I can go in here now, I can delete this piece, delete that piece, this piece, and I can take those two surfaces and get rid of those two. Have that. Now I'm going to basically repeat this exact process for the front and back. Because you know we have an angle looking this way when you look down the part, but you turn it sideways and you'll see that it's chamfered up on the edges too. So that being said, I'll go to a side view. I'm going to make sure again that I have project turned on. I'm going to draw a point right here on the end. Represents where I want my chamfer to begin. And then I know, I'm looking at my part, chamfer will come in about maybe 2 millimeters. So I'm just gonna, I'll hit Control Copy, Paste. I'm gonna tap this in. 1, 2, oops. 1, 2. So I got another reference point right here, and then that chamfer comes down. I don't know, maybe about the same, 2 millimeters. So I'm gonna tap it down 1, 2. Maybe a little less. Oops. Something like that. So now I'll draw a curve from this point to this point, enter. So basically I drew a kind of a side view of what that chamfer, I believe that chamfer looks like. And I'll just do a surface extrude curve straight. Now notice it's going in the up position. I don't want that, so I'm going to type in D, enter, a snap, or just click out here in space, hold shift, go this way with it, boom, like that. I'll go ahead and while I have this surface up, I will go ahead and mirror that to the other side. Then I'll grab this solid, poly surface, do solid, oh I'm sorry, Boolean split. Grab that, and that, enter, oh, Boolean split. Oh, it did work, okay. So now I can take that surface, delete it, and this has been split into 2 solids, that solid, and that solid. Should have something that looks like that. And then this is, ooh, I guess I cut into the circle a little bit with my original chamfers here, so it's not good. I'm kind of measuring this thing in the dark, so. Does that make sense as far as getting that bottom shape? And then you can just build off of that. Kind of repeat that process for the top. You can do surfacing, you can do some Boolean differences, solid tools to get what you need. And again, watch that other video on this. It's a little bit longer video. You can probably fast forward through a lot of it, but I cover a lot of these same things in the video. So I'll let you guys work for the next 15 minutes and start chopping away. If you have questions, I'll be able to help you out one-on-one. Sound good? Your homework for the weekend is basically a repeat of assignment 1, but you have to have all those parts surfaced and solid. So we're going back, repeating all these parts. So if you remember assignment 1, we did a lot of the basic parts. So start with those and we'll ease into the more complex ones near